Nobody does it, Bennett. Yes, I've gone and said it. Movies and games, some things that are lame. Nobody does it, Bennett.
Good evening and welcome. There are some superb movies ahead on Movie Review Universe. Next time, we'll join Leonardo DiCaprio as he takes a wee boat trip and gets more than he bargained for in the 1997 film Titanic. Right now though, it's time for Stargate. Hello, and welcome to Nobody Does It Bennett, Movie Review Universe, otherwise known as the MRU. I am your host, The Greg Bennett Experience, and tonight I'm joined by Ross as we go through the movie Stargate from 1994. Ross, how are we doing tonight? Are you ready to be locked and engaged?
Oh, I'm keen. Let's go to the stars. Yeah, we'll have to lock in those chevrons.
Make sure we have a point of origin though.
Oh, yes.
Geeks. Nerd alert. Tonight we'll be running through the film Stargate from 1994. We will first give you our brief history with the franchise before running through the film itself, giving our thoughts and impressions along the way. We will also be acting out certain scenes with our own unique voices. At the end, we'll give you our review scores to see where Stargate lands on the MRU charts. Not the star charts, the MRU charts.
The MRU.
What is your experience with Stargate the film, and also your experience of Stargate in general?
I have really good memories of the film from way back in the day. I think I watched it around about when it came out, and probably watched it about 2 or 3 times since then. But I haven't seen it in probably the last 10 years. So it was good to revisit it. I remember watching SG-1. We would watch SG-1 together.
Yeah, when it first came out.
I remember the first season. And then, I don't know, life got in the way.
I'm pretty sure they were like going through different places and planets every episode.
Yeah.
That's right.
But it was really great. I think now, after watching, like revisiting it, I want to go back and, go back through the series and start to watch that again. Because they had like 7?
Had 10 seasons plus 2 movies.
Jeez.
And then Atlantis, I think, had 4 or 5 seasons, and Universe only had 2 seasons. I haven't seen Universe yet because it got cancelled just as apparently as it's getting good. So I haven't watched it because I don't like going through things that haven't been completed.
Yeah, that's the Netflix curse.
It is. Well, Universe got the Netflix curse.
Yep.
Stargate has been something that stuck with me ever since I saw this film as a kid. You're right, we saw it pretty much when it came out. The concept alone is something that has fascinated me. When Stargate SG-1 came out in the late 90s, I watched it because of my positive experiences with the movie. I have watched and own all 10 seasons and 2 movies of SG-1, and love going through them from time to time, or place to place, through the stars. It's like saying that was a serious face, but no one can see it. It's like, yes. One thing about this movie with O'Neill, his staunch kind of stares. Love it. Kurt Russell, only he could pull that off, with a guile haircut from Street Fighter.
Oh, it was the guile.
But around the same time as Street Fighter movie too.
He could have easily just sidestepped.
Have them shooting side by side in each studio.
Yeah.
I have tried to watch Stargate Atlantis multiple times, but just can't get past the first season. Don't think it's a quality issue though. It's more just it didn't click with me. So what do you think of Roland Emmerich as a director, Ross?
I'm trying to think of the other things he's done.
Stargate was his first American film, which is like, damn, that's a good way out of the box.
Yeah.
Because this next one was a huge phenomenon. Independence Day.
He did Independence Day?
He did Independence Day. He's done Godzilla from 1998. I love that film. I don't care what anyone says. The soundtrack's amazing.
Yeah.
Come with me. Dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun.
The Jimmy Page.
Yeah. If you go back through Godzilla, there's a lot of Simpson actors in it.
Well, they had Hank Azaria.
Harry Shearer.
Was Harry Shearer?
He was the news anchor.
Yeah.
Also, Nancy Cartwright plays his assistant.
Holy. So he just raided, like, the Simpsons office and was like, hey, I'm making a movie.
It's 1998, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because this is the height of the Simpsons.
Yeah. Probably by that point, they were like, yeah, we gotta, stretch out.
You might say the Simpsons were as big as Godzilla. But yeah, so he's done that. He's in Day After Tomorrow as well. 2012 with John Cusack drove a limousine right through an earthquake.
Oh, was that the Mayan calendar one?
It was, yeah. It's stupid fun. I love it. Yeah. Moonfall. And when they came out, it looks...
Yeah, so they're kind of like the bombastic films that kind of are fighting against the oppressor kind of thing, or like, you know, like
They're
it's...
epic in scale. Yeah. But what I love about Roland Emmerich films is he builds. Like Stargate, nothing happens for like till about an hour into the film. No action, like no threat. Independence Day takes about 40 minutes for the threat to actually, or 50 minutes for the threat to actually happen in the movie. Godzilla takes a while for him to actually build to that as well.
Yeah.
He loves to build the tension or build a character, like get you to know the characters first and then kind of throw you into the action. Mainly enjoy Roland's earlier American work rather than his more recent projects. If you like what you hear or have any suggestions or thoughts for us, who knows, it might be about Stargate. Well, you can contact us by going to the Nobody Does It Bennett Facebook page or by hitting us up on the Twitter at NobodyDIBennett. You can also email us at nobodydoesitbennett@outlook.com or by going to our website nobodydoesitbennett.buzzsprout.com. Nobody Does It Bennett is available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and other podcast outlets. Nobody Does It Bennett is now also available on YouTube, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Right, Ross? Are you ready to step through the gate and enter the unknown?
Oh yeah, I found my little medallion. I've been searching in the sands of Egypt.
And you found it?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stargate from 1994.
Nobody Does It Bennett. Maha!
Right, Ross, we're into the movie now for Stargate. Let's do it. Movie begins with a credits intro that shows you shots of something that you can't quite figure out until it's revealed at the end to be an Egyptian sarcophagus. I really like the Stargate theme music, which is composed by David Arnold, who also composed Independence Day, 1998's Godzilla. He did the soundtrack, but he did the music.
The composition, yeah.
Yeah, the stuff they didn't use, not to come with me. And 5 different James Bond films, including my favourite James Bond film. Can you guess which James Bond film was my favourite?
Casino Royale?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, so he's done 5, including that one.
And that was his first score, too. Yeah, no, he'd only done, like, music videos or something in between.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were like, ooh, I don't know whether we should. And then he just knocked it out of the park.
That theme. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. It's like, oh, I'm ready for some action every time I hear that. Like, they obviously use it again for SG-1. Just love it.
I think they've used it in all of them, haven't they?
I'm not sure if they use it in Atlantis or Universe. I think it's just SG-1 and the first Stargate
He just created an iconic.
theme.
Yeah.
I don't think it gets enough credit. No one really talks about the Stargate theme. So cut to the North African desert, 8000 BC. A village of primitive humans are sleeping. When a giant spaceship arrives, the villagers start to flee, except for one teenage boy who is drawn to the ship and walks towards its bright light. The boy is bathed in a white flash from the ship. It says here the boy is bathed in white fish from the ship. The word, sorry, he's changed it to white fish.
White fish!
Yeah. No, not the fish!
Don't give me tuna!
This is floundering. Cut to a car driving around in Giza, Egypt, 1928. For all you history fans out there, this was indeed later in time than 8000 BC.
Huh.
Yeah, yep.
Who'd have thunk?
A British yuppie gets out of the car with a little girl. The two are greeted by a local Egyptian man who escorts them through a dig site. This bit feels very Indiana Jones. The British yuppie is called Dr. Langford. He is shown a large circular object that they have found buried in the ground. But it's not the Stargate. Hold your horses. That's coming up shortly. The little girl goes over to a table of other artifacts that were found. The little girl's attention is grabbed by a golden amulet-looking necklace. The little girl takes the necklace.
Hasn't she seen? You never take the necklace.
What's this? This looks old and probably worth millions. I'll just take that. The little girl runs back to her dad where they are led along past some tents. In the foreground of the tents is a newly found Stargate ring. A whole bunch of people are pulling it up with ropes.
Is it metallic in that point?
It is metallic, yeah.
Yeah.
The gate itself always the same design. It's just like in the series and stuff, they put the shield panel on there.
The stone.
No, the actual gate's always the same. Yeah. It's like there's they actually put a shield down so when someone tries to dial in, you actually need to actually have the shield. It's not in the movie. It's an SG-1.
Like an iris kind of thing.
It is actually called the iris.
Oh.
There you go.
Hey. Maybe
Ding, ding,
there's
ding.
something in there from I still remember them.
The concept of a Stargate is an idea that seems so simple, yet also so genius in design. A gate that can take you to different planets. It's just genius. Mm-hmm. How does this not be thought of years ago?
Yeah. That's the Einstein-Rosen bridge.
Wormhole, yeah.
But I don't think it's been done in anything else.
Well, I think in Thor they talk about it, but not like the gate.
Like the Bifrost.
The Rainbow Bridge is kind of similar in that.
Yeah.
But it's not an actual gate that you can walk through. It's Thor's power.
No.
At the base of the Stargate, the team find what looks to be some sort of fossil or statue piece. Looks very similar to Anubis. If you don't know who Anubis is, go look him up. Because at this time, Ra's the only one. But when they made the series, they decided to make them all system lords, gold system lords. Every head was a different design, a different animal for every system lord.
Cool.
So I'm not sure what Ra's would have been if they're stuck with one. Cut to present day. An elderly lady is walking around a building. She looks at the sign that reads, Symposium Ancient Egypt. The old kingdom of the fourth destiny or dynasty, I guess, if you want to say it that way. She walks into a lecture being held by Dr. Daniel Jackson. Dr. Jackson is explaining how the Egyptians did not build the pyramids.
Well, who do you think built the pyramids?
I don't have any idea who them, I mean. People start to walk out of the lecture.
Men from Atlantis or Martians, perhaps? Ha ha!
The crowd all have a good chuckle. Oh, it's this guy over here. What a joker.
I say, what?
The point is not who built them. The point is when they were built. The audience all leave having heard Dr. Jackson's preposterous theories. Cut to Daniel leaving the Park Plaza. It's pouring rain outside. I can remember listening to director Roland Emmerich's commentary for Stargate a few years back. He explained how he likes to have at least one rain scene in all his movies. So if you watch all the Roland Emmerich films, it's raining some point in one of the movies.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Or in Godzilla 998, it's pretty much raining
all the time.
The whole time, yeah. Come with me. Daniel finds out that someone wants to speak with him in their car. The old lady in the car is wearing the golden locket thing that we saw the little girl steal in Giza before in 1928. It's the old lady who was watching Daniel before. Daniel gets in the car.
Jackson, are those your parents?
Daniel looks confused at the old lady. Foster parents. Well, what is this all about?
A job.
What kind of job?
Translation. Ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. Interested?
I'm gonna go now.
Go where? Haha. I mean,
Go where?
haha.
Where are you gonna go? Yeah.
I mean, you've just been evicted from your apartment. Your grants have run out. Everything you own are in those 2 bags. Side note, he just left them in the rain.
Pouring rain.
Want to prove your theories are right? This is your chance.
She holds out an envelope, gesturing for him to take it. Daniel looks at her, then takes the envelope. What's this?
Travel plans.
The door of the car is opened by the driver. The driver is actually Kowalski for later on. Daniel gets out into the rain.
Huh.
Yeah.
Kowalski!
Catherine's car drives off while Daniel was left in the rain trying to figure out the note. Cuts to a car pulling up to a nice-looking suburban neighborhood. It's the US Air Force. Mrs. O'Neill lets the Air Force men in. They wish to speak to her husband, Jack. She tells them that they can try. It then cuts to Jack up in the room of his recently dead son, Tyler. Jack is sitting in the room with a gun in his hand and sporting a terrible wig. You notice his wig in this?
The long hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, oh, that is a god-awful wig.
Surfer dude.
Does not suit Kurt Russell at all.
No.
There is a knock at the door. Jack hides his gun under the pillow on the bed. Excuse me, Colonel O'Neill? We're from General West's office. Jack just continues to stare and says nothing. Sir, we're here to inform you that you have been reactivated. Bomb, bomb, bomb. The Air Force men then leave the house. When they get in the car, they discuss how Jack's kid just died, and that is why he is the way he is.
So what happened? Like he got a hold of the gun or something?
His son got a hold of one of his guns and shot himself. Accidental shooting.
I'm glad like they don't do a flashback
No.
or something.
Awful.
I mean, like other directors would have.
What they would have done is they would have had a close-up on his face and you would have heard the audio of bang, no!
Charlie!
A white flash in his face.
And then it comes back to him going, staring off into the distance.
Yeah. And then they would have gone, Colonel O'Neill?
Colonel!
Cut to another car driving in a secret army base that is located in Creek Mountain, Colorado. Daniel Jackson gets into an elevator at the base. He's accompanied by a soldier. Do you know who that soldier is?
Kowalski!
There you go. Daniel sneezes.
Cold?
Allergies. Daniel is led through some tunnels where he is joined by 2 other scientists. Notice that one of the scientists is Paul from Spin City.
Ah, that's where I knew him from.
Yeah, he also looks like Penguin in the Batman.
Yeah.
The base is a former missile silo that is built into the side of a mountain. Daniel and the other scientists are led into a room where they see the giant clay plate thing that we saw in Egypt back in 1928. Catherine greets Daniel. This is what? How did you find us?
What? No, terrible.
Wow. Dinosaurs?
Giza Plateau, 1928.
I've never seen anything like this.
Of course you haven't. No one has.
Daniel moves closer and touches the stone. Get your hands off it. This is for looking, not for touching. You look with your eyes, not with your hands.
Sir, step behind the line. Now there's 2 lines of hieroglyphs. The inner track has the classic figures, but the outer track is like the cartouche in the center. It's got writing unlike we've ever found before.
Daniel steps back to see better. Those aren't hieroglyphics. Might be some form of hierotic or maybe cuneiform? Yeah? Daniel moves to a blackboard looking at where the hieroglyphs have already been partly translated into English. Well, the translation of the inner track is wrong. Must have used Budge. I don't know why they keep reprinting his books. He starts erasing some of the translation.
Excuse me, what are you doing? We've used every known technique.
Daniel finally turns around, pointing to an untranslated symbol. That's a curious word to see, huh? Quebec?
Yeah?
Then an verbical syngem with a cleft subject? Then sealed and buried?
Excuse me, what are you doing?
That's not coffins. Daniel ignores Myers crossing the word forever to eternity and replacing it with for all time. Who the hell translated this?
I did.
Well, this should read 1,000,000 years into the sky is Ra, sun god, sealed and buried for all time. It's not door to heaven. He crosses out the word and replaces it. His Stargate. Catherine laughs. Daniel turns back to face the others. Kowalski watches with his arms folded. Well, so why is the military so interested in 5,000-year-old Egyptian tablets?
My report says 10,000.
10,000? We can't fight that. Sorry, it's 2 towers. 10,000 orcs. O'Neill, dressed in uniform, arrives in the room.
Afternoon, Colonel.
O'Neill approaches and hands Kowalski the folder.
Do I know you? I'm Colonel Jack O'Neill from General West's office. I'll be taking over from now on.
This figure 10,000 is ludicrous. I mean, Egyptian culture didn't even exist. We know. But the sonic and radiocarbon tests are conclusive. Well, there are cover stones. Was there a tomb underneath? No. But we found something a lot more interesting.
Excuse me. This information has become classified. From now on, no information is to be passed on to non-military personnel without my express permission. Catherine, what's going on here? I'm not sure.
Cut to Jack walking down the halls of the missile silo tunnels. Catherine follows after him.
Colonel O'Neill, I think you owe me an explanation. I was told I had complete autonomy. Plans change. Why are you here? Why did they bring you on this project?
Jack glances around evasively before looking directly at her.
I'm here in case you succeed.
Interesting bit here, in case you succeed. It's a very good way of showing the audience how much of a badass Jack is. He's a badass.
But also, it's the unknown. They need the military if things go right.
Well, they do, because if they succeed, it means that they could actually be transported across dimensions.
But we don't know that yet.
Sorry, across stars. Well, I think they have some sort of idea of it could be threatening.
Well, that is, yeah, Stargate.
Yeah. 2 weeks later. Daniel is still hard at work trying to figure out the symbols. Looks like he hasn't slept much in the past couple of weeks. He's also listening to a voice recorder of himself. In the recorder, he says that he's never going to get paid. Daniel goes past a guard on watch outside the room and uses a fountain nearby to fill up his coffee jug with water. Daniel looks at the guard who is reading the newspaper. Remember those, Ross?
Oh, the things you could use to wrap chips.
Yep. Also things that I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and deliver.
Yeah. Oh.
Something on the paper catches Daniel's eye. Daniel grabs the paper right out of the guard's hands and runs off with it. Then Daniel comes back and looks at the guard through the window in the door. Can I borrow this? Daniel runs off and grabs a marker pen. and starts to connect the dots on a story about Orion's belt. Daniel figures out that the symbols on the ancient scribes are star constellations. Cut to a convoy of cars arriving at the base. They appear to be important military people. Daniel goes to a conference room with a whole bunch of paper tubes in his hands. Catherine introduces Daniel to General West. So, you think you've solved in 14 days what they couldn't solve in 2 years? Two years? Anytime. O'Neill comes into the room while Daniel starts passing around several of his rolled papers. Not those papers, Ross, all right? Hey guys, I got some stogies. Let's pass them around.
I want a cigar.
Okay, all right. We're obviously looking at a picture of the cover stones. Now, on the outer track, these figures that you would believe to be words to be translated were, in fact... He stands again and shuffles his papers, pushing some larger pieces aside and into some people next to him to a rolled out star chart. Sorry about that. Were in fact star constellations. Now, these constellations were placed in a unique order, forming a map or an address of sorts. 7 points to outline a course to a position. Daniel turns to the metal wall behind him, on which a picture of the cover stones has already been taped. He tapes up another paper and begins to draw on it. O'Neill lights a cigarette. What a badass.
Sir, we have no smoking in here.
He points to a sign, he's like, And, to find a destination within any three-dimensional space, you need 6 points to determine the exact location. Daniel draws a cube and places a dot in the center of each of the 6 sides of the cube, then draws lines between them to all intersect at a spot in the cube. Hopefully everyone could understand what I just said there, because that was a lot of words about cubes and lines.
Cubes and lines. Which actually, like, when he draws it, you're like,
So that's why I had to do it at school.
Yeah, geometry.
You said you needed 7 points. Well, no, 6 for the destination, but to chart a course you need a point of origin. He draws a point some distance from a cube and then a line to where all the cube's spots intersect.
Except there's only 6 symbols in the cartouche.
Well, the 7th actually isn't inside the cartouche. It's just below it. Here, designated by a little pyramid of 2 funny, neat little guys and a funny little line coming out. Daniel laughs at his bad drawing. No one else laughs, though. Awkward. Anyway.
Did it? No, that symbol isn't anywhere on the device.
What device? West looks to O'Neill, who shrugs. I'm smoking over here.
Do what you want.
Show 'em. Kowalski stands and goes over by Daniel, pressing a button. The metal wall Daniel has been using as a dry erase board is actually a blast shield that rises. Daniel looks out of the window and into the room beyond. The Stargate sits there. A metal ramp is in front of it and various personnel are walking around it. Catherine comes up to stand beside Daniel. The Stargate is a beautifully simple design. I love it. Would you say, Ross, that it ranks up there with other movie devices like the DeLorean from Back to the Future and the One Ring from Lord of the Rings?
Not only aesthetically, but also functionally. Like, the ingenuity to come up with that as an original design, it's amazing. Like the inner track and the outer track and the little things that lock into place. And
It's good, and I get goosebumps whenever they start dialing in.
yeah,
I can feel it. It's all coming back. What is it?
it's your Stargate. Come, Jackson.
Catherine leads Daniel down from the conference room and into the control room. Mitch, while smoking a cigar, punches a few keys into a computer. The computer monitor shows an image of the Stargate with 7 blank boxes to the right. It reads, idle. In the midnight hour, she got more. The glyphs on the Stargate start spinning around like a game of Wheel of Fortune. Daniel notices one glyph in particular, the pyramid, with a circle above it appears on the computer monitor. Hold it. They stop the Stargate spinning. Wait, do you have sorry. He looks around, spotting a marker in Mitch's pocket and grabbing it. Hey, don't. Daniel has already... Don't, man. Daniel has already begun drawing his little stick figures on the monitor screen. 2 figures on either side praying beside a pyramid with the sun directly above it.
He's right. It was in front of us the whole time.
Catherine reaches for a phone and dials an extension.
General West? Jackson has identified the 7th symbol.
The 7th symbol.
Oh, it's not the 5th element, though.
General West, Jack, and a few others are watching from another room. Go ahead. Jenny, one of the operators, starts the iconic Stargate sequence.
Programming 7th symbol into computer. Chevron 1 is holding. Chevron 1 is locked in place.
Power output at 23%.
Chevron 2 is holding. Engaged. Chevron 2 is locked in place.
Holding at 35%. A technician puts a message over the speakers, alerting all personnel at the gate to evacuate the area. Get the heck out, guys. We're all gonna die. It was under the cover stones.
Yes, my father found it 1928. Made out of a mineral unlike any found on Earth. Chevron 5 locked in place.
79%. A shaking starts, rattling the coffee cups and equipment. They continue typing.
Chevron 6 is holding. Chevron 6 is locked in place. This is as far as we've ever been able to get.
The computer in the monitor goes crazy with output as the 7th chevron is dialed. The Earth point of origin. The shaking is so hard, someone has to hold the telephone on the desk. We have to override manually.
Chevron 7 is...
The computer completes the sequence.
Chevron 7 is locked in place.
The Stargate activates. The way it does is awesome. There is a burst of wave energy that comes out before it settles, like that burst of water that kind of pops out like a pressurized area has just been burst, and then it kind of like gets sucked back in and becomes a puddle.
I kind of thought of it like somebody had done a bomb into like a pool, and like that goes out, and then it's like a whirlpool on the other side almost. But for 94, that was crazy good.
It is in the movie. I noticed there's like a cone shape at the back of it. It's not like that in the series. It's just flat. But in this, yeah, it's got like a cone shape to the back of it.
Yeah.
The settled energy puddle is known as the event horizon. A probe is then ordered to be sent through the Stargate. The gate room is completely cleared of the guards, leaving it now empty with only the probe left. The probe starts to make its way up the ramp towards the Stargate. Probe continues to move up the ramp. It pauses before the event horizon and sends through an arm. The arm continues to extend, then the probe appears to be pulled through the Stargate. There is a machine that is scanning to locate the probe. It starts heading out towards a vast star system. The probe has locked itself onto a point somewhere in the Millennium Galaxy. Daniel starts to look at the star system on the map. Daniel is astonished.
That's right, Jackson. It's on the other side of the known universe.
The gate then deactivates.
Gone.
That's it. End of movie, guys. Well, that was great.
Cool. We watched the robot do nothing.
Yeah. 94 movies, there was a lot less to do, so they only had so much budget, no? Gemma West is showing Jack O'Neill images from the probe. They can see another Stargate in the image with the probe. The gate must be a connector between worlds. These markings are different. They don't match the symbols on our gate. That's why we may have to abort. This project is for naught without a reconnaissance mission. Once on the other side, someone has to decipher the markings on the gate, and in essence, dial home in order to bring the team back. Based on this new information, I don't see how we can do that. Well, I can do that. Cue intense stares on Jack and West's faces. Zooms right in on Jack. It's like, zoop, and he's just like,
Just eyes.
He does that a lot in this. Just a stare. Are you sure? Daniel looks back over at the unique chevrons. Positive. O'Neill looks at the others, then walks out.
He's full of crap.
It was another word there, but I couldn't swear. You're on the team. Cut to Jack walking to a restricted area, behind a secure door. You know it's secure, as it has steam venting out with the classic steam venting out sound. Shh. There is another piece of ancient discovery. Some type of fossilized armor that looks very alien in nature, yet resembles the Egyptian god Anubis. And another armor that resembles a bird of some type.
It was quite hard to see that one.
It was an eagle, I think, yeah. But it was on there, like, when I paused it, I saw Anubis first. And then I saw, there's another one there.
Because it's kind of like the Anubis one is in profile, and then the other one has been like flattened.
Yeah, it's like your attention's on Anubis, not on the other part. Gemma West joins Jack in the room.
Do you understand this complicates things?
That's why I wanted you, Jack. We've opened a doorway to a world we know nothing about. Cut to Daniel packing his books into a suitcase. See, they're already up to scene 6 and they still haven't actually gone through the Stargate yet.
Yeah.
Takes their time. Catherine gives Daniel the pendant she stole as a child like a dirty thief. She tells him she found it with the Stargate in Egypt years ago. That's right, Catherine. Found it.
Just found
Just found it. Just happened to be lying around.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine says for Daniel to bring it back to her. In other words, don't die, Daniel, as you'll be needed for a future 10-season, 2-movie TV show. Sure, you'll be a different actor, but we're going to need your character's name recognition.
Yes.
Yeah, so don't die.
We couldn't change that.
Yeah, we couldn't have that, all right?
No.
The team starts to ready up in the Stargate room. The control prepares to start up the Stargate. Jack approaches his team of soldiers.
If anyone has anything to say, now the time's to say it.
At the far end of the line, Daniel sneezes and pulls out a handkerchief. Everyone turns and looks at him as he blows his nose loudly. Classic Daniel.
He's the odd one out,
Yeah.
isn't he?
These guys are ready for war. This guy's ready for bed. The team steer into the now activated Stargate, with Jack in the front steering it down. Another intense Jack O'Neill steer. Kurt Russell was such a badass looking dude in this. No wonder they set him through the Stargate in South Park.
In South Park.
It's a movie or an episode thing called Imagination Land. Where you go through a portal thing. It looks like a Stargate. So they get Kurt Russell and he goes, I'm just an actor. It's like, you're the closest thing we got. We got to send you through. He gets sent through and he gets attacked by woodland creatures.
The cute woodland creatures that are... Yeah.
And then later on there's a press conference and one of the people go, why aren't you sending Kurt Russell through? He goes, we tried that already. We tried that. And he was by woodland creatures. Jack then walks through. The sound of something or someone going through the gate is interesting. Almost like a mixture of someone putting their foot into a soggy gumboot. And underwater snorkeling. It is the sound though. Daniel puts his hand through the Stargate first. Reminds me of the Matrix when Neo puts his hand through the mirror.
I watched that part like almost 2 or 3 times. Just kind of marveling at the reflection of him, and like for 1994, it was amazing.
The lighting.
Yeah.
They have that beautiful like underwater lighting.
And then when this head actually goes through. Yeah.
And the roller coaster ride we had to go through.
That one, no, but like when you just see half his face. Yeah.
When Daniel fully goes through, the audience gets a first-person view of going through the Stargate. It really alerts the senses like a roller coaster. When Daniel comes through the other side, Jack is right in his face, telling him to remain calm, and gets another soldier called Brown to watch him make sure he's okay. Apparently the effects wear off after a few minutes. They never really explain about these effects. What are you talking about? Like, yeah, he looks like he's a bit nauseous, but then like nothing happens. Like they make a real serious point of it. Relax, all right? It's going to wear off shortly. It's like, but he's all right.
In like 5 seconds, he's up and away.
Yeah, it's not like it's like Neo and it's about to pop.
Yeah.
In the Matrix. Again, another Matrix reference. Because in that, he can't breathe and everything. But in this, like, it could have done a thing where he just was hyperventilating and then got him to calm down. That would make more sense. But he just comes through the Stargate and he's like, calm down, all right? He's like, I didn't say anything.
You've just been deconstructed and reconstructed. But yeah, it's okay. We'll give you about 10 seconds.
And he didn't say anything. He just landed there.
Yeah.
Pretty sure the guy who plays Brown in this is also an Independence Day as the pilot of the Welcome Wagon helicopter. Yeah, remember the Welcome Wagon, the helicopter? Like, it goes to visit the ship and goes, how's the Welcome Wagon?
Yeah, and then with the big lights.
Yeah, it has the big lights to just like, two little guns shoot him. Yeah, that was the guy who played Brown in this.
Huh.
The gate shuts off, causing the room to go completely dark. Time to light some flares.
Flares galore.
I love how like they were like tap ones. They're all tapping the ends of them. I was like, is that how flares actually work? I've always seen people like break almost, like break the tops off like a cigar.
There's the there's the UV light ones, which they break and you shake.
Break and shake. Yep.
Old break and shake. And then these flares, yeah, they're like you pop the top and then you go.
Yeah, you tap it like someone were tapping it.
Yeah.
If I ever get a flare one day and I knew how to use it, people are like, wow, you know your stuff. I'm like, yeah, I didn't watch Stargate at all.
Stargate.
Jack gets his team to search the area. They make their way through and see a giant circle in the roof with spiral triangles in it. Almost like maybe the circle can open up.
It's Chekhov's circle.
The team then come to part of the building that is lit up by daylight. There are giant pillars right through the area. This bit here with the pillars and going through reminds me of the Aztec scene in GoldenEye, the multiplayer game.
Yep.
Going through all those pillars. The golden gun was usually around there somewhere too. The team head outside, guns ready, prepared for whatever they encounter. They find themselves in a giant desert with only the enclosure they came from inside. It's a giant pyramid. It's a megalodon. Behind the pyramid are multiple moons or planets in the sky. Very Star Wars like. Is that multiple? Do you know moons or planets? I'm not sure.
Oh no, I think it was planets.
Beautiful day though.
Oh yeah,
You can see everything was so clear.
stunning. Yeah, no clouds.
No, I knew it. The team set up and searched the surrounding area with their state-of-the-art 1994 equipment.
Their tents, like weird, like dodecahedron, like weird.
They look like the tens out of Earth 2 TV show.
Yeah.
Remember that classic show? The boy who had all the sicknesses and those weird petrified kind of creatures that lived in the caves. Daniel has the look around the pyramid.
Wrap this up, Eric. Get everybody back inside. Right.
He walks together. Right.
I want all of you back through the Stargate within the hour. You're coming with us, aren't you, Colonel? Sir!
O'Neill ignores him. Daniel walks down the ramp to the others.
Jackson, start working on the Stargate.
This is where I noticed that actor, French Stewart, Harry from Third Rock from the Sun, is on the team.
Yeah.
His character is wondering why Jack ignored Kowalski's question. Daniel is going to need some more time, as there's bound to be more structures around, or at least signs of civilization. Apparently the pyramid they found is actually a replica of the pyramid in Giza.
I was trying to figure out, like, did they construct that, would just be, CGI'd or whatever, but the actual thing that they come out of, did they make that structure as a prop and as a stage, or is it an actual place that they just visited in, like, Jordan or Egypt? Or
I'm pretty sure it's actually just a structure they made. I think it's just the entrance.
because the stone on that is amazing.
Yeah, it looks really good. Maybe it's a different planet. Maybe they filmed this all on a different planet.
Holy crap, they actually went through the Stargate and it's real.
Because we're going to get Tom Cruise for this, and he's like, I'm only doing this if we can actually go to another planet.
Yeah, I need to go to the system.
I actually have to be out there. You have to build a Stargate, and then I'll be in this. Jack and Daniel argue as Jack says Daniel's job is to get them back through the Stargate and not to research the planet. I can't.
You can't, or you won't.
I can decipher the symbols on the Stargate, but I need an order of alignment. Now, those coordinates were marked on tablets back on Earth, and there must be something like that here. And I just need to find it.
Find it? What do you mean find it? You didn't say anything about finding anything.
Well, I assumed the tablets would be here. I mean, right here.
You assumed? You're a lying son of a bitch. You didn't say a word about finding anything. Kowalski!
Yeah, he shoves Daniel to the ground.
Kowalski!
O'Neill steps between Kowalski and Daniel, who's shakingly getting to his feet. The other men are starting to look over.
Set up a camp down here. Organize our supplies. Sir! You've got your orders.
Kowalski walks away pissed, but not willing to mess with Colonel Badass, Jack O'Neill.
Sir, yes, sir, Colonel Badass.
Some soldiers and Daniel hike some supplies up a nearby sand dune, where Harry from Third Rock is waiting with a set-up camp. Harry from Third Rock is annoyed with Daniel for being stuck on his planet. Brown says that they can just activate the gate from the other way. But nah, that's not how Stargates work, son. Meanwhile, Jack is alone in the pyramid. He opens up a case. It has a bomb in it, as well as a remote trigger for the bomb.
There's always a bomb.
And there's always a remote trigger for the bomb. Really giant looking mess of a thing though. Jack activates the bomb. More on this later. So he gets it armed, ready to go, but doesn't actually set it off, does he?
It's it's very, just a slight flick of something, and y'all are dead. But it's just, that's fine. We'll just leave that.
It's like on standby.
Yeah.
Harry from Third Rock starts throwing suitcases at Daniel, wanting him to work on getting them off the planet. The soldiers are giving Harry mad respects as Daniel picks up his stuff that has fallen out of the suitcase. Cut back to Jack as he has more pieces to attach to the bomb. It's like a Voltron figure, having to pull the pieces together, only this bomb doesn't form a giant robot. Jack sees the torchlight heading his way, so he hides the bomb back into a secret compartment on the equipment buggy. Sneaky. Kowalski lets Jack know that the base camp is set up. Jack keeps the bomb remote in his hand. As Daniel was sitting on a dune, deciding to take a break from picking up his books that fell out of the suitcase, and eating a Fifth Avenue power bar, well, it's actually a chocolate bar, a Fifth Avenue chocolate bar.
I've never seen them in any other movie, never heard anybody from the States talk about them. Are they Hershey or like...
I'm not sure. I've never ever heard of them either. I was like, Fifth Avenue? At first, I never actually saw Fifth Avenue on this part. It's later on when he gives the chocolate to the guy from the tribe.
But you see it, when he's packing?
Yeah.
There's like, book, chocolate bar.
Well, I guess when you're smoking in those doogies in the conference room, you got to have some chocolate bar to go with it, You know what I mean? But then Daniel sees footprints in the sand. Footprints that lead away from camp. Daniel tracks the footprints and finds a woolly buffalo-looking creature. The creature has a saddle on it, so it must be domesticated. When they show a close-up of the creature, it looks like something out of Dark Crystal. Maybe Ross. Another movie we've covered with a Jim Henson Creature Shop creation.
It fully looks like it was just taken out of Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, something. Yeah. Some Jim Henson. Yeah, we got these spare ones. You want that? Yeah, okay.
It doesn't fit the rest of the movie for me.
No.
Everything else is like, yes, it's science fiction where they go through a gate and go to another planet, so you got to have a stretch of belief. But everything else seems so real apart from that, obviously. Everything else feels like real and set up to be like what a real environment. So when you see like a creature that's made out of mechanics and puppetry, you kind of go, this kind of throws you out of the movie. Turns out though, Ross, it's not Henson Creature Shop.
But it's to show we're not in Kansas anymore.
Jack gets to camp and asks where Daniel is. The soldiers just look all moody and say nothing. Cut back to Daniel approaching the animal in the desert. The creature is called a Mistage. The Mistage likes the smell of the chocolate bar that Daniel has. So Daniel gives the animal the chocolate bar. Well, a little piece of it. Like, just give him a small bit. It's like, it's a big, massive creature. He's like, I'm just going to break off a little bit for you because I can't afford to give you too much of my Fifth Avenue chocolate bar.
But also, your body will probably not be able to eat this.
No, because he could be toxic, but that small amount, yeah.
Also, you're eating plants.
True, yeah.
What if it's like dogs and it's like, just they die?
I thought about that too. I was like, what if it's dogs or cats that have got, like, it's toxic for them? But it's like, it's so big and it's such a small amount of piece. Like, I think even a cat or a dog would be fine with that amount. So, buffalo looking thing, yeah, should be fine. It didn't die. It was fine.
I wouldn't feed that thing.
Daniel looks up on the dune to see Jack, Brown, and Kowalski. It's got a harness. It's domesticated. Daniel spooks the Mistage, which causes it to run. Daniel gets his foot stuck on the rope saddle and gets dragged away. Classic Stargate hijinks. Pretty much feels like that way with O'Neill chasing them as well. Daniel gets dragged for miles. Jack and the others give chase, but stop running when they see the Mistage getting further and further away with Daniel.
It always weirds me out. Like, they just randomly go off into the desert where, there are no points of reference. And just they're like, yeah, this will be fine. We'll get back. That'll be fine.
What if it was like Mass Effect and one of those big worm creatures were in there?
The Thresher Maw.
Yeah. The desert like that, you'd think a Thresher Maw would be in there somewhere.
Sandworm from June.
Yep. Tremors as well.
Yep.
You got to be careful. When you're exploring other planets, guys, be careful. Be responsible. Cut to Daniel lying unconscious. The Mistage starts licking his face, slobbering all over him. Jack and the team catch up with Daniel. Jack looks like a disappointed dad at Daniel before noticing something in the distance. It's a camp of hundreds of people. They seem to be mining something from the ground. One of the workers spots the team up on the dune hill. Jack and the team start walking down to make contact.
All right, Jackson, you're on.
Me? Hi. One of the men spots the pendant around Daniel's neck. His eyes widen. The man bows down in front of Daniel, and all others follow until all are bowing like dominoes. Like the Domino's, not the pizza company, but Domino's themselves.
Pizzas like to bow.
Like pizzas, yeah. O'Neill and the others come forward.
What the hell did you say to him?
Nothing. O'Neill walks over, noticing a teenage boy looking up. The boy immediately ducks his head back down.
Hey, it's okay.
It's an interesting plot point they have with Jack and Scara here. Their friendship lasts right through SG-1 as well. They actually get the same actor back.
Really?
Yeah, he plays Scara. He actually gets kidnapped and becomes one of the Go-Wolves.
Ooh.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Just in case you didn't see it 2 decades ago.
I was about to watch Stargate SG-1. Well, blimey.
Crap.
But it happens in like the first episode, alright? So you're fine. Scara yells and runs away from Jack. I would too, as Jack is one badass dude. No one else, however, moves from their bowed state. Brown scans some of the substance the people have been mining. Scara returns with a Mistage, which has been led to the team by a few people. There is a man on top of the Mistage. He gets off the creature and gets given a stick before walking over to Jack and the team. Do you think it's a leadership stick or he just can't walk? I think it's a leadership one because later on he's full on sprinting when he's charging.
Yeah.
Man, I was impressed when he was sprinting. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, for 60, 65, in the sand.
And he was like way in front too. He felt like, have you ever seen, obviously you've seen Infinity War?
Yeah.
There's a bit with Captain America and Black Panther when they start accelerating and everyone else is charging and the air is motoring. It reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The man speaks, but Daniel can't make out what he's saying. He does think it sounds familiar though. Some women of the village come out and give the teams bowls with liquid in it. I'm guessing water. The team each drink from bowls, then start to collapse because it was poison that you drank, Dr. Jones. And I have the antidote. Nah, for reals. They drink from the bowls and then get the bowls back. Daniel pulls out a Fifth Avenue chocolate bar. Again, Fifth Avenue getting some really good stuff here.
Turns out is by Hershey's.
The man bites into the Fifth Avenue chocolate bar and he loves it. He rants to the whole camp about it. That's some great product placement right there. The man bows and gestures for them to come. He's inviting us to go with him.
How can you be so sure?
Because he's repeats the man's gesture. Inviting us to go with him? We were looking for signs of civilization. Obviously we found it. You want me to get us back home? This is our best shot. Colonel, he's right. I took some readings of what they're mining back there. It's the same material as the Stargate. Oh!
Ooh. Radio base camp. Tell them to keep that area secured until we get back.
Yes, sir. Oh! Sorry, that's my Casey Jones voice. I'm recycling that. Oh! Hey! Oh!
Hey! Oh!
Cut back to base camp. Harry from Third Rock and his team are receiving a message from Brown. Harry gets orders to secure the camp until Jack and the team return. The camp will head back to their home. There is a massive single line across the dunes. They must walk single file to hide their numbers, like the Sand People from Star Wars.
Is that why they do it?
I don't know, but I just remember Obi-Wan or Ben.
Yeah.
Then people walk single file to hide their numbers.
Oh.
They arrive at a giant city. I call it giant city because compared to anything else on this planet, it's a giant city. Daniel sneezes due to his allergies. One of the tribe's people are curious by this and steal his already well-used hanky. That's gross. They actually kind of have an episode like this in Stargate where they actually go to a planet and they actually affect it with the virus. It's a common cold virus for us.
Yeah.
But obviously to them it's like the Black Plague.
Well, that's like the Spanish coming to Mexico.
Yeah. So I was like, if you want to know that question, like why someone's already asked that, oh, he hit the hanky, probably going to get a disease now. No, they've already explored that in an SG-1 episode if you go back and watch that.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. Skara grabs it back off the tribesman and gives it back to Daniel. When the team get inside the big city, Kasuf, the leader of the city, bows as a giant metal circular symbol is revealed from a curtain. It is the same symbol that Daniel has on his necklace, the Eye of Ra. The city folk all bow to Jack and the team. The Eye of Ra? It's the Egyptian sun god. They think he sent us here.
Yeah. I wonder what could have given them that idea.
Jack grabs and looks at the pendant on Daniel's necklace. A horn blows in the distance and people start moving about hurriedly.
Where are they all going?
Brown receives a transmission from base camp. He can't hear the message. There is just too much interference. Brown hands Jack the radio, hoping an intense stare could get it working again. But nope. Static. It cuts to Harry from Third Rock trying to tell Jack that they need to abandon base camp as there is a severe sandstorm. The gates to the city are closed. Jack, Brown, and Kowalski walk to go back to base camp, but are not allowed out the doors. So they take the next logical step. Attack a tribesman, take another one hostage, and threaten the city with their guns. Kasif gets beaten. Kasif gets between the city people and Jack and the team, trying to calm things down. Skara goes up to Jack and points up to the sky. You start to hear bits of the gold theme for the first time. I really like the gold theme. That you kind of hear that?
Ah, okay.
Oh, that's that menacing violin.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like simple and effective again, but Jesus, I love it. It's just so menacing.
Yeah.
Skara takes Jack for a look outside. They see a massive sandstorm coming over the dunes.
What is it, Colonel? Sandstorm, coming this way.
Kowalski lowers his rifle and releases his hold on his hostage, who collapses on the ground with a gulp of relief. Kowalski breathes heavily as he calms down himself. Well, that would have been an excellent reason to shoot everyone. I agree, Daniel. I agree.
The best reason. We'll stay until it's over.
Kasif and Skara, of course, were not talking about a sandstorm. They were pointing to the sky. Why would they point to the sky, Ross? Because the golds.
Because
Ra is coming. Ra!
You don't see anything in the sandstorm, do you?
No, it's just their ship coming down. It must be landing. It's just causing a massive sandstorm.
Yeah.
Because later on, it lands down slowly.
See it.
Yeah. Cut back to Harry from Third Rock and the base camp crew are retreating into the pyramid. They try and contact Jack's team. Cut to the city where it looks like they're having a Return of the Jedi Ewok type party. It does feel like celebration at Ewok party. Time for weird animals to eat at a party time. So yeah, they got all the food that comes out. Very much again like Temple of Doom with the chilled monkey brains. Daniel eats some of the meat of the exotic looking creature. Tastes like chicken. It's good. Daniel tries to communicate with Kasif. Tastes like chicken by pretending to be a chicken. Jack just has a real American badass type of meal. The nice long drag of a cigarette.
Jackson said that was an Egyptian symbol?
O'Neill points to the large medallion. Yeah, the Eye of Ra.
Would you say then that it might stand to reason that if they know one Egyptian symbol?
Yes. In the meantime, Shari has been speaking to her father. He nods with a calculating smile, and she stands. Yes. Daniel goes over to Kasif, who offers Daniel his bowl, but Daniel instead whips out his necklace. Kasif tries to bow, but Daniel stops him. Daniel is no god, but he will be Ultron in the future. James Spader, of course, is Ultron in the Age of Ultron. No. Daniel points to his necklace again, then reaches down and begins to draw in the sand. Kasif immediately reaches out with his foot and obliterates the writing. Kasif holds out both hands to Daniel in a stop gesture.
What the hell's going on?
It seems like writing is forbidden. O'Neill exhales after taking a drag from his cigarette. Considering this, Kasif meanwhile continues speaking and gesturing. Several women hurry forward, wrapping Daniel with a blanket and beginning to herd him out of the circle. The crowd seems happy and excited. What? They want me to go with them? Should I stay? I'll go with them. I'll be fine. He passes Shari, who watches the proceedings a bit nervously. Daniel is led into a room. The women then leave. Shari then enters the room. Daniel, thinking she was a servant, tries to usher her away. Shari then lowers down her dress, offering her body to Daniel. But he gets up and puts her clothes back on, saying that she doesn't have to do that. As Daniel is leading Shari back out of the tent room, Kasif looks over, terrified that his offering wasn't acceptable. Daniel reassures Kasif that Shari is fine, and that he is very happy. Daniel and Shari go back into the room. Daniel and Shari exchange names. Then Daniel starts drawing again, just your typical lawbreaker in this world. Shari refuses to look. As Daniel has a peek through the room curtain, Shari starts to draw on the ground. Seems like Daniel's lawbreaking is starting to rub off. Shari draws the symbol of Earth. Daniel asks if she has seen the symbol, and Shari nods. Show me. Cut back to the pyramid. The sandstorm is still underway outside. Basecamp team keep trying to contact Jack's team. They also talk about how the sandstorm is odd. Harry from Third Rock says he's been stationed in the Middle East and hasn't seen anything like it.
This is not the Middle East, you dumbass.
By his way of saying it's not a sandstorm. It's something else. Or someone else. They also discuss the TV show spin-off ideas by saying how they can't just dial home, as there are thousands of different combinations. Get it wrong and you could materialize in a vacuum of space. But get it right and you could have 10 seasons and 2 movies.
Well, it's 37 squared, which is billions.
A lot of material there. It's like, obviously Jack O'Neill's recast in the series from Kurt Russell to Richard Dean Anderson. Of course, is famous for being MacGyver. In the first episode, there's a bit where they have a remote, but they can't get it working, the device working. She goes, I can't just MacGyver this thing.
Hey!
She looks at O'Neill, I'm like, that's great. I love that. He would have just gone, ugh. Then there is a noise from above. A massive ship arrives. One that makes the pyramid look tiny. A lot of Sith lightning and close-up shots of the ship here. I do like the arrival of the ship. It's really dark and ominous.
Just little lights, and yeah, you're not too sure.
The ship lands over the pyramid like a tea cozy over a teapot. The ship locks in place and lights up. It's a stunning sight, and a picture I put on Facebook. The base camp team spread out around the pyramid. The camera sweeps around like it's a ghost stalking them, but it's no ghost. The soldiers get taken out one by one, Batman style. Reminds me of Batman Begins at the docks. Where are you? Here. Grabs him and pulls him up. Love it. The ship continues to rumble from above the pyramid. The Jafar soldiers are so cool looking. When I saw this as a kid, it utterly terrified me, Ross.
Really?
Seeing them arrive. Seeing their eyes light up and their head move.
Yeah.
I was like, gah! It terrified the crap out of me.
The design is amazing.
These human-bodied warriors with giant metal animal heads. And I was about 9 or 10 when I first watched this. Yeah. It's like, it's real dark.
Yeah, that's why it's M.
It's like real dark. I mean, like, when they arrive, it's a presence, man. Like, this is like, they ain't to be messed with. Straight away, give you a, man, they're screwed feel to it. And like in the series, like, I do love SG-1 and they made a lot of improvements from the movie, but they never got the tone again of how dark and ominous the Jafar soldiers are. Like, I guess they couldn't on TV budget, but their arrival here, I think, is amazing. Cut to Jack smoking another cigarette. Skara sees Jack lighting it and is fascinated by the lighter. Jack throws Skara the lighter so that he can try it. Skara then grabs a cigarette. Jack's like, sure. You're what, 16? You go right ahead and start smoking.
This will be fine.
Skara starts to emulate what Jack does. It's quite cool, actually. See him like sitting there, like trying to pretend how to smoke. So what does Jack do? Jack notices he's doing this, so he takes an exaggerated puff from the death stick, then looks at Skara, daring him to try it. He's like, but then he turns and looks at Skara like, yeah, you try that. And then smiles.
You're gonna one up?
Then smiles as he watches Skara puff. Skara has a look of panic and has a coughing fit. Jack smiles, hoping he's turned another one away from the tobacco way of life.
Big Tobacco very disappointed right now.
Wouldn't it be funny if Jack visited youth centres in the spare time just doing this to kids? Have a cigarette. Skara goes to hand the lighter back, but Jack says for him to keep it. Skara grabs for Jack's gun, but Jack verbally berates Skara.
Guns are very dangerous. Smoking, though, that's fine. He goes very, very intense, though, over the gun.
He does because his son got killed. Show you that he's about the same age as his son. Yeah.
Bing.
There you go. Skara runs away. You might say Jack scarred him for life. Tobacco. Cut to Daniel and Shari breaking into a forbidden place. I thought it was forbidden, but it's actually just a cave. They go full mummy here, walking through with a fire torch in hand. It's like, is there going to be a mummy in here? There are pictures on the wall, including the symbol for Earth. Superian, Reminefjif, Bakanefsima, Tarparif? I'll be damned. Shari says, Tarparif? Back to Daniel, and Daniel looks at her astounded, like, you just say that? You just say what I'm saying? He then points to other symbols. Shari even corrects him in some of his pronunciations. Daniel is learning on which languages the tribe's native tongue is based on. Cut back to the pyramid. Harry from Third Rock is being dragged along by a Jafar soldier. Harry is on the Goa'uld ship. He is brought into a room with an Egyptian-style sarcophagus. The sarcophagus begins to move and open, and the Jafar soldiers kneel before it.
So cool.
You're like, what is this? And it's got the... Ugh. As a hand emerges from the sarcophagus, it's where you see as a hand in the scene.
Yeah.
One of the Jafar soldiers notices Harry is awake and knocks him out. Talk about third concussion from the sun.
Oh!
Cut back to the city though. Jack and Brown are still trying to communicate with base camp. But now, there is no signal at all.
More interference?
No! There's something out there! Skara shows some other curious boys his lighter. Skara then sees Jack talking to Kowalski!
Kowalski.
They see them salute one another. Jack goes over to Skara and the boys. Jack is looking for Daniel. He uses his hand gestures descriptions to explain what he looks like. The boys all mimic what Jack is doing, even throw him some salutes for good measure.
I guess the word dweeb doesn't mean anything to you guys, does it? Yeah, why not? I'm on Planet X, looking for a dweeb who wears green fatigues. He wears this jacket, he's got long hair, comes over his eyes, he wears glasses, and sneezes.
I like how he puts it all together too. Long hair, and he brushes his hair, and he makes the old glasses like you and kids.
Yeah, the upside down.
Yeah, glasses. And then the chew is what they notice and go, Skara clicks to what Jack is saying when he does the sneeze mimic. Skara starts clucking like a chicken. Yes!
Chicken Man, you got it.
Skara gets Jack to give over Daniel's vest and puts it over a gate so that the Message can get Daniel sent. Skara lets the Message loose and they all follow it. The Message are like Swiss Army knives of animals.
What can't they do?
They can transport, track, wake you up from an unconscious state, and probably more. Probably have a fork in the back too.
Yep.
Cut to Daniel and Shari chin-wagging in the caves. Jack arrives.
Thought you couldn't speak their language.
Daniel jumps up, startled. You scared me. Jack continues walking in, with the boys in behind them. Reminds me of Michael Jackson's Bad video. When he starts walking in, they're all walking behind him. Yeah. It's an ancient Egyptian dialect. I mean, it's like the rest of their culture is evolved completely independently. But, once you know the vowels...
Just answer the question.
Well, I just had to learn how to pronounce it. I mean, it hasn't been a living spoken language in more than 1,000 years. I mean, look at this. It says, a traveler from distant stars escaped from a dying world looking for a way to extend his own life. Daniel points to icons on the wall showing an alien creature with the eye of Ra over his chest. His body, decaying and weak, he couldn't prevent his own demise. Apparently his whole species was becoming extinct, so he travelled or searched the galaxies looking for a way to cheat death. And, look here. He points to another pictograph showing a pyramid with the sun above it. Humans are small figures below the pyramid. Another picture shows lights coming down from a pyramid, with a young boy under them all. He came to a world rich with life, where he encountered a primitive race, humans. A species which, with all his powers and knowledge, he could maintain indefinitely. He realized within a human body he had a chance for a new life. Now, he apparently found a young boy. It says, as the frightened villagers ran, night became day, curious and without fear. He walked towards the light. It almost sounds something out of a Bible, you know? Very biblical what he says there. Ra took him and possessed his body like some kind of a parasite, looking for a host. And inhabiting his human form, he appointed himself ruler. More pictographs shows Ra as ruler over the people and an active Stargate with people walking through it. He used the Stargate to bring thousands of people here to this planet as workers for the mines, just like the ones we saw. Daniel moves over to another picture showing workers bringing the mineral as offerings to Ra. This mineral was clearly the building block of all his technology. With this, he can sustain eternal life. Now, something happened. Where is it? Back on Earth. A rebellion or uprising, and the Stargate was buried there. Cut to a shot of humans carrying a fallen Jafar soldier. That scene, it's a quick scene, but you see like Jafar like in like crowd surfed.
Yeah. It's like, this is amazing.
Fearful of a rebellion here, Ra outlawed reading and writing. He didn't want the people to remember the truth. Kowalski leads Daniel and a group to the tablet like the one he found in Egypt. That's it. That's what we're looking for. They must have hidden it here in hopes that one day the gate on Earth could be reopened. I knew they'd have it written down someplace. Daniel gets closer and wipes away some dust and dirt, trying to see all the symbols. Wait a minute. Where's the seventh symbol? It must have broken. It's got to be here somewhere. It's got to be here. Got it. Got it here. Daniel looks around and finds the broken pieces, but the symbol isn't on it. It's worn out. I can't make it work without the seventh symbol.
All right. That's it. Kowalski! Brown!
Cut to Jack and the team all suited up and leaving the city. Green beret and all. He's wearing his green beret there. I'm like, yeah, there he is. He's Guile.
Yeah.
Shahri looks at Daniel one last time. A love that's strong enough to power 100 Stargates. If only they knew the coordinates. It's like the start of a romance novel. Cue walking in the desert montage. Highlights include silhouettes walking over sand dunes as the sun rises, while Skara and the boys follow, and Jack and the team arriving at the massive pyramid moon.
Yeah, and they're trying to hide.
Yeah, it's like so clearly right behind them.
There is nothing to hide you.
These are green berets. Yeah. Like, they know you're tracking you from like 2 dunes away, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny though. And Jack and the team arriving at the massive pyramid moon. Wait. That's no moon. It's a space station. Jack cocks his gun. It's time for battle. Doesn't matter how many there probably are. You don't mess with Colonel Badass.
Dun, dun, dun. He'll take them all out with one clip.
One stare. Jack charges into the pyramid while others follow. The team spread out around the interior of the pyramid, just like the soldiers did before. That worked out really well for them. Jack finds gun shells, so he knows a battle took place. Skara and the boys run to the outside of the pyramid. Jack sees one of the Jafar soldiers. Big metal head and all. The gold theme starts again. So good. Brown tries to move around a pillar, but it's cut off by a Jafar. The Jafar points his awesome laser gun spear at Brown and blasts him back into the wall. It's a brutal end for the welcome wagon guy from Independence Day. But he gets shot, and the other guy gets shot, Kowalski, and he's like, yeah, nah, I'm fine. I'm just going to be hanging out in the swimming pool.
I'm getting paid more.
Skara sees it happen from a window as he stands on his mate's shoulders. Kowalski is then sent into a wall. Not sure how badly he was blasted though. You know, later on it wasn't that bad at all. Jack grabs Daniel and they run towards the Stargate. Why are we going to the Stargate? I can't make it work. Jack lights a flare and continues walking like a badass.
Stay right here and shoot anything that comes down that ramp.
What are you doing?
Just cover me.
Jack starts to ready the bomb. What is that? What are you looking for? Jack opens the panel. But the bomb?
It's gone.
The circular hole in the roof then opens up. It does open up. Some floating rings come floating down.
Vroom, 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 vroom.
Such a cool elevator, eh?
Yeah.
Love it. It's just like shing, 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 shing. Reminds me of like a slinky without the middle spring things.
Yeah.
Also reminds me of a chatter ring. The rings on a chatter ring.
Yeah.
When you spin
yeah.
it. If you don't know what a chatter ring is, go back and look up 1998 like best selling products. Chatter ring will be in there.
They came back.
Did they really?
Yep, they came back. I remember probably about 6 or 7 years ago, kids started trying them. Nowhere near as big as what they were.
No, because it was
way
the
back
yo-yo craze of the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And then it came chatter rings and then cargo pants at the same time.
then. And Pogs. It's Elf. In Pog form.
I'd sell my soul for those. There's also those pants that have the button up the sides, like the Adidas ones.
Oh, Snap Pops.
Yeah, that were great. I got the budget version of those.
I had some that were like 4 sizes too big for me.
That was the fashion.
It was stupid.
Some floating rings come down with that. I love how terrifying these Jafar soldiers are. The Jafar soldiers point their energy spears at Jack and Daniel. Jack and Daniel, get it? Because like drinks.
Jack Daniels.
Yeah, there we go. I didn't notice that until now.
Yeah,
There you go. It's a small world.
think that's deliberate.
You reckon of this?
Don't have a clue. I would do something like that. If I was writing a movie.
It's like, oh, I got a couple names for this. Look around the room. Jack Daniel. I need 2 characters. Jack and Daniel.
All right. Jim and Beam.
No. That's already been taken.
Damn.
Jack orders Daniel to lower his weapon. Jack and Daniel brought in. I can't stop saying it now. Are brought onto the gold ship via the ring elevator. Jack notices that the rings are controlled by a button on the backhand of the Jafar's armor. The top of the ship opens up, led in the daylight. Jack and Daniel are led to a throne room where there is an empty throne with big eagle statues either side of it. So that's a cool throne, man. Dude, great big bushy eagles. The Jafar force Jack and Daniel to their knees. The back of the room opens up. A squad of young boys and girls walk out, surrounding someone who is dressed up like an Egyptian sarcophagus. The sarcophagus person sits down on the throne. Ra speaks in an old language, but I will just use the subtitles here as script. You have come here to destroy me. It's Claw from
Good.
Inspector Gadget. Some men bring out a device on a stretcher. Daniel looks at Jack. What is that? It's a bomb, isn't it? That's what you've been looking for. What the hell were you thinking? What'd you come here for? Ra orders his Jafar soldiers to demask. The effects are a little janky, but still cool. I noticed that inside, like they come off, but then all of a sudden, once they came down, they'd completely disappear. Like
Then they
visual
like
effect.
go into like the neck or
Yeah.
something. It works well for the soldiers. It doesn't work well for Ra.
No, that's one looked really strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than demask as well, like you just said, they all have human faces. Interesting. They're actually humans. Have you heard about Jay Davison's demand for playing Ra in Stargate, Ross?
Oh, didn't he ask for like a crazy amount of money? And they were like, yeah, okay.
I'll give you the full story, but yes, that's the breakdown of it. Jay apparently wasn't a big fan of the fame he was receiving as an actor, so he didn't want to be in Stargate. He thought if he threw out an absurd money offer, then the producers would just turn it down and he could move on. Jay said he would play Ra for $1 million. To his shock, they agreed.
He got bang for buck because he's in like maybe what five scenes.
And most of those aren't speaking.
Yeah,
It's just his
so he's
eyes.
getting like 200 grand to just look at a camera.
But you also got to remember, it's really, really hard to find someone where their eyes will light up like that.
Yes.
So, he's got that skill going for him.
He's got the light inside his head.
He does. Yeah, he's got the cat's eyes sometimes,
Yeah.
like Michael Jackson and Thriller. Jack hits the Jafar soldier next to him and grabs an energy spear. Jack shoots the other Jafar guard with the spear. Jack is a quick learner and also a badass. Daniel tries to stop the attack by jumping in front of Jack. Yeah, that'll work. And waving his arms to stop the firing. Daniel is shot in the stomach by a Jafar soldier. The young kids all stand in front of Ra, stopping Jack from firing. It's like Ra knew what happened to Jack. Jack is knocked out by a Jafar. The Jafar soldier then beats Jack down heavily with an energy stick. He's like, and Ra's like, yeah, no, mate, he's had enough, all right? He's had enough.
Chill, bro. Chill.
Ra's eyes glow. Another awesome moment. Jack is thrown into a deep, dark hole with water in it. Basically, a swimming pool.
It kind of like it doesn't link to anything else.
No, it's just a swimming pool.
It's yeah. Turns out the urinal.
Did you pee in here? No.
Dude, it smells.
Maybe that's what it is. Is that just a buildup of piss for other prisoners? Kowalski is down there with Harry from Third Rock from the Sun and another generic soldier guy that I didn't care to learn his name.
Soldier number 3.
Red shirt. Yeah. Jafar soldier smirks above the prison pool. He's like, you guys aren't going to get out of here in probably in about the next 20 minutes and come back and kill me. Kowalski asks about where Daniel is. Doesn't seem to care about Brown. He's like, where's Daniel? And he's like, well, what about Brown? Brown was there too. Meanwhile, Skara and the boys are raiding the base camp supplies. They run and hide when they see trouble. 2 gold gliders in the sky. The alarm horn sounds in the city. The gliders are heading their way. The gliders attack the city, killing people dead. That's right.
Dead, you say? To shreds, you say?
After they cause enough damage, they fly away. So I'm guessing it was like a thing where like you got to cause like on the trophy thing for the video game, it would have been like do like 40% damage, then leave. Yeah, and they did. Once they've done enough damage, they fly away, having proved their point. Don't defy Ra. Skara and the boys return to the city, seeing the damage that has been done. It's a war zone. Bodies lying around, rubble everywhere, human sacrifices, cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria.
What is this? Nobody ever gets hit directly either. It's always like the ground.
And they always get knocked away. They'll go flying like kind of like Xena and Hercules characters. Shari asks where Daniel was. Skara gives her a sad long look. Shari starts to cry. I saw the chin quiver too, so you know it's true sadness. I guess Spader doesn't beat the king. Kasif says to Skara, son, we should not have helped those strangers. Not sure if the movie mentioned this before, but Skara and Shari are Kasif's kids. Not sure they even mentioned that.
No. Is it later when he says son?
He says it here. He says son.
Ah,
He
okay.
says son, we should not have helped the strangers.
Yeah, yeah. That's the only clue that you get.
And I think Shari's his sister.
Yeah.
That's why she went to him, because also asking permission, you asked the father.
Presumably, yeah.
But usually it's the husband that asks the father for permission, not the wife asking who the husband doesn't know.
Yeah.
Cut to Daniel waking up in a sarcophagus. Must be a lot of dry ice in that thing, because when he woke up, there's a lot of fog in there.
You don't wake up and smoke every day?
No, he's Jack Daniels, isn't he? Well, he's Daniel, so he's got to be cool. Daniel looks at the blast hole in his chest. The clothes are still burned, but the wound is gone. Daniel gets out as the sarcophagus begins to close. A young boy appears with a cat in his arms. The boy looks unimpressed when Daniel sees him and walks off. Maybe leave the cat behind if you don't want to be seen. Daniel follows the boy into another room. It's the throne room. The cat is on the throne. Makes sense. That's what my cat does. Takes my damn chair.
It's not Ra's ship, it's the cat ship.
Yeah, it is. He just lets everyone else on it. Daniel continues to follow the boy making it obvious that he wants Daniel to follow him. Daniel is led to Ra's bed chambers. Oof. It's not what you think, though. This is an M-rated film. Servants are placing armor on Ra, adding more and more on as Daniel and Ra speak. I was dead.
That is why I chose your race. Your bodies, so easy to repair. You have advanced much, harnessed the power of the atom.
Daniel approaches, noticing the bomb and several of his books opened and lying about. What are you going to do?
You should not have reopened the gate. Soon, I will send your weapon back to your world with a shipment of our mineral, which will increase your weapon's destructive power 100-fold.
Why would you do that?
I created your civilization. Now, I will destroy it. But before my workers question my authority, you will prove that I am their one god by killing your companions.
If I refuse?
Then I will destroy you and all who have seen you.
Ra stands in front of Daniel, grabbing his necklace and yanking it off him, while his eyes glow with anger. Glowing eyes. One look at you and I can't disguise I got glowing eyes.
There can only be one Ra.
Cut to Skara and one of his boys in the caves. They have to come to inform Shari that Ra has called for an assembly and execution. Shari tells the boys to give her round. She tells them a story all about how her life got flipped turned upside down. She'd like to take a minute to sit and behave. She'll tell you how about Ra and the slaves.
Nice.
Dun, 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 dun. Shari explains how Daniel and the team come from a planet that fought back against Ra and his gold army, and how now they must do the same. Cut to the execution. Seems like a good turnout for this one, Russ. Ra is in his sarcophagus attire again and sits down on his throne, which is overlooking the execution that is happening just outside the pyramid. Skara and Shari are in the crowd. Thought there might have been a fat guy there painted in team colours, but nope, not this time. Jack, Kowalski, and Harry from Third Rock from the Sun, and the other guy, are kneeling at the midway point of the ramp. Daniel was brought out behind Ra. Jack knows that Daniel is alive. Daniel was handed an energy spear by Jafar. As Daniel is walking down the ramp, Skara bounces sunlight off his lighter and into the eyes of Daniel, letting him know they are there. Skara shows that he has a rifle under his cloak.
And nobody else sees that.
No one else sees it. It's like, yeah, okay. The Jafar soldiers should have been seen. Should have been looking. That's why they get punished later on. They should have been looking.
True.
Daniel opens up the spearhead, preparing to fire. Daniel then turns and fires at the Jafar guards. Skara and the boys and Shari fire their weapons in the air, causing the Jafar to be confused and to give Jack and the team a distraction so they can run. The team get cloaks thrown on them to disguise their identities. A lot of people get shot here by Jafars, but at least the 5 American lives were saved. Oops, scratch that. Other guy generic soldier got killed. At least 4 American lives were saved. Should have worn that red shirt to work today. Cut to the team walking through a sandstorm at night. Daniel falls to the ground.
Womp womp.
The team make it into the safety of some caves, thanks to Skara and the boys and Shari. Jack sees the boys with the guns and starts taking it off them.
Take these guns away, Lieutenant, before they hurt themselves. Sir? You heard me. Send them all home. There's no place for these kids to go. Anyway, we could sure use their help right now. For what, huh? To do what?
Everyone is stunned at O'Neill's outburst. O'Neill himself is shaking. Why don't you just tell them everything? Why don't you just tell them about the bomb?
What's he talking about? My orders were simple. Track down signs of any possible danger. If I found any, blow up the Stargate. Well, I found some.
Well, your bomb is his now, and tomorrow he's going to send it back to Earth, along with a shipment of that mineral they mine here, and when that thing goes off, it's going to cause an explosion 100 times more destructive than a bomb alone is capable of.
I'll intercept that bomb before I can send it through. Why wasn't I told all this? 'Cause there wasn't any reason to tell you, Kowalski. Kowalski!
Kowalski!
You weren't even supposed to be here. You were all gonna go right back through with Daniel. I was gonna stay alone and blow up the Stargate, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
It's the gate on Earth that poses a threat. That's the one we have to shut down.
You're absolutely right. Since you don't know how to get us back, we don't have that option, do we?
Oh, I was like, yeah, looks at it like, yeah, Mr. Smart Guy. Jack and Daniel death stare at each other before Jack gets up and walks away. Cut back to Ra in his ship. He is upset and asks 2 Jafar guards who are sent out to find them where Jack and the team are. The guards say they looked everywhere. Some kids were helping them. So they didn't look everywhere because you didn't find them. If I was Ra, that's what I'd say. It's like, you didn't look everywhere because otherwise you would have found them. But the caves would be the one of the first place I would have looked, but I don't know. Come back to the caves. Some of the boys are feeding the Mercedes outside while Daniel goes to look after Jack. While Daniel goes to look for Jack, he finds him sitting alone. You had accepted the fact that no matter what happened, you would not be going home. Don't you have people who care about you? Do you have a family?
I had a family. No one should ever have to outlive their own child.
I had a father. His name was Ben Parker. So, I don't want to die. Your men don't want to die. And these people here don't want to die. It's a shame you're in such a hurry to. Ooh. Cut to Ra's ship. Ra unlocks a hand device from a sarcophagus and looks to punish the Jafars that were the ones who were on duty during the escape.
How could you let them escape?
Ra's hand device sends some sort of wave vibration power at one of the Jafar soldiers, which sends him flying across the room. Ra walks towards the Jafar soldier again and places the device directly on his forehead. The Jafar looks like he's been executed like a criminal on the electric chair. He's like, the Jafar eventually dies after a fair bit of immense pain.
It does take a long time. I would have thought like he could have just been like...
But Ra's getting pleasure out of it too because his eyes glow up in arousement.
Is it kind of like that's how he gets his immortality?
No, it's just he uses the sarcophagus for like healing the kid, and he keeps him at that youthful age. But after a while, I think he's got to replace, like in the series at least in SG1, Goa'ulds can only be in a body for so long before they have to go to a new one, because even if the sarcophaguses, they do break down after a while.
Yeah.
It's just pure power. It's like pure pain that he's putting on him there. He's not actually taking any of his life there. Would be a cool way to do it, though. Suck the life out of him.
That's been done by something before, I'm sure.
The Mummy kind of does that.
Ah, yeah.
Cut back to the cave. One of the boys is laughing, or Daniel does the serving of drink. Daniel asks why he's laughing. The boy explains that husbands don't do this sort of work. Husband. Daniel asks Shari if they are married. Shari says not to worry, as she didn't tell the others that Daniel didn't want her. Daniel then grabs Shari's face and awkwardly kisses her. Skara closes the curtain so the others don't see Daniel and Shari banging.
Don't want to look at that.
Cut to morning. Daniel finds Skara drawing on the walls. Skara is drawing the day of their victory. Whoa, hold near, Skara. Don't get too overconfident there. Daniel observes the drawing and comes to a realization and draws on the wall himself. Connect the moons. This is the symbol for this planet. That's it. That's the point of origin.
What are you doing?
I found it.
What are you talking about?
The seventh symbol. We're going home. Cut to the mines. Some Jafar soldiers are barking orders at the workers. One of the workers is kneeling on the ground, but when a Jafar soldier comes over and hits the guy, he is ambushed by Jack and the boys. Jack ruthlessly shoots the Jafar soldier with his own staff weapon. Jack don't mess around. Why is this? Because Jack is a badass. Kassoff yells at Skara saying that they should not cause trouble, but Skara, he's tired of being a slave, yo. Kassoff leads a bowing and praying session to Ra. Daniel has had enough. Kassoff! Kassoff stops chanting and looks at Daniel. Take a look at your guards. Daniel flicks the switch on the Jafar's head armor, revealing the human inside. Take a good look. Kassoff and the workers get up and stare at the very mortal-looking Jafar. Cut to Ra on his ship, rocking a very fancy-looking black robe. Seems like Ra has more hairstyles than Padme in Star Wars. More to come about her in an upcoming podcast. Ra sees a convoy of people approaching outside.
Send the bomb down to the Stargate.
Two Jafars take the bomb on a stretcher out of the room and head to the elevator rings platform. The convoy is arriving by the entrance to the pyramid. The Jafars place the stretcher with the bomb on it, on the ring platform, and walk away. I mean, there's no reason to make sure it doesn't get interfered with, right? Just, we're going to leave it here. It's like, why?
That'll be fine.
Why are you going to get down with it?
That'll be fine.
The convoy walks right past the Jafar guards at the entrance. I mean, no need to check their faces in case they are some sort of soldiers, right?
Yeah.
Just walk on through.
I don't get that.
So yeah, the convoy are now ordered to drop the supplies inside. This is the first time I had a clear shot at the bellies of the Jafars. They don't have the holes or the pouches in their bellies. So I'm guessing the idea that Jafars were made to carry adolescent Goa'uld symbiotes is an SG-1 idea, and not one established from the start. Because actually in the series, Jafars are actually, they have adolescent Goa'ulds in them because they can't control the human host, but they give you the powers and healing powers of a symbiote. But what they do is that they nurture them until they're ready to actually become a full Goa'uld, and then they'll get taken out and put into someone else, and then they just get another one.
Huh.
Yeah, so they're pretty much like Ninja Turtles with Krang. Picture that. That's what it is. I think adding the Jafars to be symbiote holders was a great story idea that gave them more dimensions. The Jafars don't have the forehead tattoos either, or pure gold forehead plates in there either. Later on, they have a symbol of their system lords. They're very two-dimensional in this, but they become a lot more dimensional, obviously because one of them is the main character in the series as well. But I like the idea of they're more than just soldiers. They're slaves themselves. They've been forced into labour by the Goa'uld. One of the Jafars start pulling down the hoods of the workers to make sure they are not soldiers. The first two were ducks, but on the third reveal, it was definitely a goose. The golden goose at that. It was our resident badass, Jack O'Neill. Jack winks at the Jafar, like they kind of like winks at him.
Hello.
Then blows him away with the assault rifle. A real Duke Nukem moment.
He could play Duke too.
And in that time period was when Duke Nukem was like at its peak.
Yeah.
Daniel, Shari, they all start gunning down Jafars. Like all of a sudden, like, nope, we're going to kill them all. Team 2, led by Kowalski, charge into the pyramid, but the door to the entrance is closed before they can get in there. A Jafar fires at the door just as it's closing, blowing some of the people in Team 2 back. Jack O'Neill channels his inner Wyatt Earp from Tombstone, which came about roughly at the same time.
95?
94, I think, the same year.
How was it?
I think it was either 93 or 94 was Tombstone.
Yeah.
And spins out from behind a pillar and blasts the Jafar away. Like he does that in Tombstone. There's a bit scene where they're all stood in the crossfires and then Wyatt Earp's like, nah, I'm not doing this anymore. And does like the Wonder Woman thing and just walks right across the battlefield and starts shooting them all down. And they all keep missing him. That's how badass you can get. You might be badass, but you're not Kurt Russell, Gunning Down Cowboys badass yet. Skara, Kowalski, and the rest of Team 2 seem to be alright outside. But soon, they see some gold gliders that have been launched out of the pyramid. Team 2 take cover. Jack and the team inside start to move towards the Stargate. Kowalski says for the Team 2 to cover him as he makes a mad dash from the pyramid entrance. I forgot to mention that Kowalski is actually played by the same actor who was Cooper in Jurassic Park 3. He played a mercenary who lied to Alan Grant about being a friend from church with the Kirbys, knocked Alan on the back of the head, then got eaten by a Spinosaurus. That one was for you, Matt. Kowalski gets to some carts and soon has help moving them into a cover position from the gliders. Ra orders the bomb to be sent to Earth now. One of Ra's main Jafars says he'll do it himself. He's no Teal'c, though. Teal'c is obviously from SG-1. He's more Christopher Judge, who's great. He's in obviously Stargate. He was also a really small role in Dark Knight Rises. He plays one of the guys that try to stop Batman from freeing the cops. But more importantly, he is the voice of Kratos in God of War.
Boy!
That is Christopher Judge Teal'c from Stargate. Jack reaches the Stargate and starts to look at the bomb. Jafar should have escorted it the whole way. Instead of leave it and dump it on the ring and walk away. You should have taken the whole thing there. It was silly. It was just silly. What are you doing?
Completing this mission.
I thought we agreed to dismantle the gate on the other side.
And you will. That's your job now. I'm going to stay here. Make sure this goes off.
Jack arms the bomb like a badass.
You've got 7 minutes.
A guard opens the door from behind. Shari alerts Daniel and shoots at the Jafar multiple times with an energy spear, including once while the Jafar was already falling. So he's like, choo, choo, choo. And he's like, oh, I'm falling down. And he's like, choo. I was like, come on now, dick move. He's falling down. Daniel races to Shari and checks for a pulse, but it's too late. Shari is dead.
No!
Mr. Bigwig Jafar is going to the ring elevator platform, ready to head down to the Stargate. As the rings to the elevator head down, Daniel grabs Shari and gets onto them.
What are you doing?
Wait for me. That sounds like he's a romantic thing. Wait for me, Jack. Jack, wait for me.
Just caresses his cheek.
Well, his name's Jack too, so it works like Titanic. Yeah. Jack. Jack. It's all right, Jack. They're here to save us, Jack. The bomb now has only 6 minutes until detonation. Jack looks back at the bomb, and when he looks back, he gets Jafar fist to the face. Mr. Bigwig Jafar is here. He hasn't got a name, so I called him Mr. Bigwig Jafar.
He's the guy with the things under his eyes, eh?
Yeah, he's the one that was next to Ra the whole time. Like, I'll take care of this.
The only one with any defining features.
Yeah. I'm the head of the generic Jafars. Jack and Bigwig fight and almost hit the bomb with a spear energy blast. He shoots it and just misses the bomb. I'm like, whew, you guys are almost dead.
Yep.
Daniel races through the ship and puts Shari into the sarcophagus.
Not knowing how long that he was in the sarcophagus before. He might have had to be in overnight to heal. And he's like, yeah, I got 7 minutes. This will be fine.
And
That's enough.
Wasn't even looked at the whole time he was on the ship until then.
Yeah. I feel like there's 5 people, Ra and his Jafar.
Ra and his Jafar.
Ra and his Jafar. Yeah. And then there's the little creepy kids. So it's 5 people piloting a gigantic ship. And now heaps of them are dead.
Every time you look at the ships, they do look very empty.
Yeah.
You think there'd be a lot more soldiers there, but there's not.
Nope.
If someone's got spare time, I want them to actually mod all the Jafars in this movie to be Jafar from Aladdin. The animated version.
There is no other version.
No, there isn't. No, of course
there is
not.
one.
Yes. You know what, Ross? 4 minutes now until bomb detonation.
Dun, dun.
Jack continues his fight with Bigwig Jafar. A lot of 60s Star Trek Kirk fighting here, wrestling for control of the energy sphere. The glider onslaught continues outside the pyramid. Team 2 all make it to cover except one of Skara's boys. The one who laughed at Daniel and stole his hanky. That'll show him, huh? Skara is upset by this. There's always victims in war. Team 2 fire at the gliders as they pass by, but some of them get hit by the gliders too. I don't know why the Jafars are wearing those metal heads in the gliders. You can't see in the windows, so they seem like they would be making flying a lot more awkward. They're wearing the heads pieces in the planes.
Yeah, why not take it off? Sir, I can't fit. Ow!
The way the ship would have to be to actually incorporate the headpiece. Wow. Jack and Bigwig continue to fight. Bigwig pulls out some Black Panther type claws and slashes Jack in the back. Whenever you got claws, you got to slash them right across the back so they can go, ha!
I visibly winced when that happened. Like I like vicariously felt it.
Jack hits him back though, then looks back at the bomb. 3 minutes until detonation. Jack goes to disarm the bomb, but is cut off by Bigwig. Cut back to Daniel. The sarcophagus is opening up. Damn, that thing works fast. As I mentioned before. How long does it take?
That only took 2 minutes to get you back from the dead.
2-minute noodles, 2-minute sarcophagus. When he went up the rings, the bomb had about 6 minutes until exploding, and now Shari is all good and healed, and the bomb still has 2 minutes until kaboom. So 4 minutes.
That's it. That's, easy.
Ra is watching the events outside. When he sees Daniel just waltz on past with Shari in his arms, he's like, what's going on here?
Well, hey now, you sneaky little guy.
You. I brought you back from the dead. This is how you treat me? Daniel goes to the ring platform and lays down Shari.
I am no longer amused.
Ra puts his hand device to Daniel's forehead. His eyes glow as he sadistically smiles. I don't know when the eyes glow. Like, is it when they show any emotion?
I don't know.
Because when he gets angry, his eyes glow, like
Yeah,
real angry.
yeah.
And when he is holding pain against something, not an arousal, but a satisfaction, which a lot of people can't get any satisfaction, but he can.
I can't get no. Don't sue us.
Jack has a look at the bomb. Still 2 minutes to go. Man, this crew are really getting things done in such a small amount of time. Jack decides enough is enough and starts to punch the tar out of Bigwig Jafar. It's a real beatdown. Makes you wonder why he didn't do this a bit sooner. He's just like, I was like, you're wrestling for like 2 minutes with this guy. You can just beat him up? Ra continues frying Daniel's brain.
You will die together.
Ra's forehead starts to glow, which is weird. Like, his eyes, yes, but his forehead?
Yeah, he gets that third eye kind of like.
Yeah. Avatar style.
Yeah.
Jack continues to pummel Bigwig, then leg trips him onto the ring platform, then forcibly grabs Bigwig's hand.
Give my regards to King Tut, punk.
See, it was actually something else there. It was the a-hole word. But I was like, I'm going Brooklyn Nine-Nine here since I can't have it swearing. And what word can I replace it with? And I was like, I'm just going to go full on Captain Holt.
Muddy Funster.
Give my regards to King Tut. Punk.
Punk.
Jack slams the hand down, which sends down the ring elevator. The ring elevator comes down, but only part of Bigwig's body is on the platform.
Yeah, this part's brutal.
Ra gets distracted by the incoming rings, so Daniel fights Ra's hand and then grabs his pendant back off Ra's neck and escapes on the elevator. Ra then sees the decapitated head of Bigwig arrive. It's like, oh, that's a bit nasty.
Yeah.
Jack is relieved to see Daniel and Shari return. Jack then looks at the bomb. Just under 2 minutes. Okay, what? Are you telling me that the punching barrage that Jack had, plus sending the elevator, plus Daniel arriving back down, all happened in like 20 seconds?
Plausible.
Only way I can see it is if they're happening at the same time, but they're showing it one after the other. Yeah. So that they're happening at the same time, but you think it's just after the fact. But no, they'll be while he's beating him down, the elevator will be coming down.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll go with that. Jack goes to deactivate the bomb, but the deactivation switch doesn't work. Jack then pulls out the top part of the bomb, but nope, it's still going. Cut to Team 2 outside. They are all out there defenseless and about to be shot by 2 Jafar soldiers with energy spears. But then, Kasif appears on a hill, like Gandalf at the end of 2 Towers. And like Gandalf, he has an army too. Look for me on the dawn of the 5th day from the east. It had that moment lately. I was like, this is Gandalf from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
They poached this from Stargate. The Jafar fire on the incoming army, but are soon overwhelmed. This is where like Kursoff is like sprints like madman and it's like starts beating the crap out of that guy. It's impressive. I liked it.
Yeah.
The crowd grab the Jafar and hold him up in the air, just like it happened on Earth centuries ago. Ra starts to close up the ship, ready to flee. The ship rises up into the air. So is he the only one that has to pilot that thing? You need more than one.
Apparently.
Just need one. It's pretty good technology.
Yeah.
Cut back to Daniel and Jack with the bomb. How much time do we have left?
About 45 seconds.
He's leaving. Turn it off.
I'm trying to. I can't disarm it.
What?
I can't stop it. I've got it rigged.
Shari wakes up and sees the headless corpse of Bigwig and scurries away from it.
That's a hell of a thing to wake up
Yeah.
to. Ooh, blimey.
Jack and Daniel can feel the ship taking off. They both look back at the hand device button on Bigwig's lifeless body. Both Jack and Daniel, at the same time, say,
I've got an idea.
The ship is leaving and is now in space when the ring doors activate. Ra, so good range on those things too. Ra prepares for whoever is about to come through. But it's not a somebody that arrives, but a something. The bomb, with 6 seconds to spare. Ra's face glows, showing you the alien inside. Another departure from SG-1, because in this, he's a full-on alien inside. Rather than SG-1, they're like the size of little worms that they go into the bellies.
Really?
Yeah, they're like little worms, because they're like parasites. So they go. That's why they can go into the stomachs of Jafars.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was very confused when you were talking about the adolescents being inside, and I was like, oh.
They're very small, like worm-like creatures, and they go in through your stomach, or they actually go through an ear or a mouth or an eye, and then they go into your spine, and they control your brain from the back of your head.
Huh.
And they can like latch onto your spinal cord, so if you try to remove it, they release a toxin that will actually kill the host.
Huh.
The bomb goes off, destroying the ship and tearing the flesh from Ra's body. You actually see it like the explosion tearing away from the flesh from Ra. I'm like, whoa, that's actually, they could have just showed the explosion, but no, they went the extra mile. The bomb sends out a massive wave of energy. Hopefully it won't hit any phantom zones that might be floating nearby in space. The crowds cheer as they look up at the explosion clouds in the sky. Better hurry indoors before debris starts falling, guys.
Nobody ever thinks about that.
No one ever does. Skara approaches Jack, Daniel, and Shari up at the entrance to the pyramid. Skara salutes Jack. His boys follow him up and do the same. Even Harry from Third Rock and Kowalski salute Jack. Jack salutes them back. Shari and Daniel kiss. Ooh la la. Cut to later. Jack and Skara are shaking hands by the Stargate. Harry from Third Rock pats Daniel on the back and says how he's always believed Daniel would get them back home. Good one, Harry.
Thanks, Daniel.
Kowalski walks on past into the Stargate. Now it's Jack's turn.
You sure you want to do this?
Yes, I'm sure.
You gonna be alright?
They both look at Shari, Daniel's smoking hot wife. I'm gonna be alright. How about you? Because he does like, look at that. Yeah, I'm gonna be.
This is fine.
I'm gonna be good. You? Jack is thrown back a bit by this and gets a little choked up.
Yeah.
Jack and Daniel smile at each other. Then Jack chuckles.
Yeah, I think so.
They shake hands. As Jack is about to walk through the Stargate, Daniel holds him back for a moment. Tell Catherine, this brought me luck. He drops the Eye of Ra necklace into Jack's hand.
I will.
Jack stands framed by the active wormhole, then pauses.
I'll be seeing you around, Dr. Jackson.
So this bit here, but would have been a good moment to call him Daniel here, because as Jack has been calling him Jackson right through the film, but it would be a really good way of him saying, like, Daniel, like, because
I recognize you as a person.
As a person, not just as a rank and stuff, yeah, as a friend. Because later in the series, he keeps calling him Daniel. Like, he doesn't call him Jackson anymore. Would have been like, obviously, this movie was made before the series was even thought about, but it would have been a good shooting point. Like, it's not the story of how humans fought back against an alien race. It's about how one military man manages to call a guy by his first name.
Yeah.
That's the whole plot of the movie.
I love to watch those movies.
Jack steps through the Stargate, and we get one more first-person roller coaster ride through the wormhole.
With lots of flares. Screen flare.
I like it, though.
Yeah.
End of movie. There we go, Ross. We've gotten through it.
Woo!
We got there. Now that we've gone through the movie Stargate, let's go to our ratings.
Nobody does it, Bennett. Quack.
Right, so now we've done our ratings now for Stargate, Ross. Let's go through our ratings, shall we? So for story, out of 5 stars, what have you given Stargate?
It's a pretty simple story, so I'm going high. 3.5.
3.5? Yep.
You know, there's originality to it, but there's a lot of, kind of things that have been done before. Like you're saying, comparing to Indiana Jones, and then, there's a bad guy, and we just got to make sure the bad guy gets, taken down.
Fair enough. I have given it 5 stars out of 5.
Wow.
I think the story, the concept alone is so genius. Stargate, they can take you anywhere, and it opens up the doors to such a franchise. Not just a TV show, but there's been multiple TV shows. There's a whole fandom to it now. Stargate itself is on the same level as Star Trek, I think. So the fact that this movie had all these ideas that they incorporated into a massive franchise. Yeah, the movie itself is pretty just a generic action. Yeah. But what they set up and what they've actually done.
Yeah, I don't underestimate that. No. But taking this movie as this movie.
I still think it's 5 because I think the Egyptian gods is a really interesting concept. I'm not sure. It probably has happened before this, but the whole gods are aliens. Like Egyptian gods are actually aliens. I think it was amazing.
Yeah, I don't think they've done that before.
No. And I think it was a really, really smart idea. Like they say the whole traveling was a smart idea. I think the story itself is worth 5 stars. For acting, Ross, I've given it 3 out of 5.
Ooh, yep.
I think Kurt Russell's great, and it's my favorite Kurt Russell movie. I don't know if it's his best performance, but it's my favorite movie with him in it. No, he's pretty generic. He's just brooding a lot of the time.
Stand, stare.
James Spader's pretty okay. Everyone does their job, and that's about it. That one's like amazing performance. So 3 out of 5.
None of the main actors wanted to be in the movie.
Really?
Like you talked about with Ra and, having that crazy thing. Kurt Russell turned it down. James Spader, they both turned it down multiple times.
Really?
None of them wanted, they were just like, no, this is stupid. Why the hell would I which is why you get the performances and you only get the good ones from the people that are like, yeah, we get to be in a movie. Whereas the other ones are like, this is beneath me.
Okay, I didn't know that. Didn't know that they all turned it down.
They just kept on coming at them. But yeah, I agree. Average. 3.5.
Right. The next move on to how well it holds up. What have you given it, Ross?
And this is where I go from story versus concept, and the concept that does lead on to the franchise that goes and so that's where I think that the ideas and that holds up fantastically. We don't look back on it now and go like, that was really weird. Why the hell were we thinking about that? It's still fantastic. It's amazing. If they redid it, I would love it. Only if they did it well.
Roland Emmerich was talking about making a new trilogy at one point, but I think that kind of fell through.
That'd be sick. I originally had 4, but I'm going to go 4.5.
I've given it 4. I think the only thing that holds it back is some janky effects. Like the Stargate itself looks good, but there's a couple of times where I was like, And also the creature, the Mercedes thing that was like a Muppet.
Yeah.
It kind of threw me out.
You're like, cool, Muppets. Yeah. All right.
So that's why I gave it a 4 rather than 5.
But you had to know that they were on a different planet. That's how you make sure it's different.
Because you think if they're taking humans over, they'd take animals as well. But For music, Ross, I have given it a 4 out of 5. The Stargate theme itself, I love. And the Gold theme, I think are really, 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 really good themes. I love them. There's a lot of times in the movie, just the music's just there and I don't really notice it. So it's not great. Like it doesn't really enhance any scenes. It's just there to be there. But those 2 themes alone, I think are worth a 4-star.
Yeah, no, I honestly completely agree with you, and I'm 4-star.
Nice. So Ross, for visuals, how good it looks.
I went for a 4. It was shot pretty well. There's nothing groundbreaking cinematically for a film shot in a desert. Pretty damn good.
I have also given it 4. I think the Stargate, the effect of the Stargate when it bursts out is awesome. The Stargate itself, when they're looking through it and stuff and like putting their hands and stuff through it, not a special effect I'm looking at, it's the way it's shot. Looks awesome. The first person view as you go through the Stargate, even though the effects look a bit dated, it's still fun and awesome.
Also the costume design.
Yeah, looks really, really good. When they land, when the gold ship lands, that whole sequence.
And the pieces start to go into their proper places and things.
That, and also when the Jafar soldiers are down there and kind of coming through like ghosts.
Yeah.
And taking them out one by one.
And
it's like a first person shot. Looks really, really cool. The way that the Jafars come in the darkness with their spears at Jack and Daniel when they're in that room. And it's 3 of them just pointing their energy weapons at them. I was like, this looks awesome. So I think there's actually some really good shots. There's just some generic shots as well. But there's some good shots in there as well. So that's why I gave it more than a 3. I think it's a 4. So we both gave it 4. Right, so we've added up the totals here, Ross. So let's go through what we've gone through our ratings again for. For story, you gave it 3.5 out of 5. I gave it 5. For acting, you gave it 3.5 and I gave it 3. For how well it holds up, you gave it 4.5 and I gave it 4. For music, I gave it 4 and you gave it 4. And for visuals, how good it looks, you gave it 4 and I gave it 4. Gives you, Ross, a grand total of 19.5 out of 25 stars. Gives me a grand total of 20 out of 25 stars. It gives us a grand total. This would be like the raw total. 39.5 stars out of 50.
That's a Pharaoh total.
If you told me when I started watching this maybe like a few days ago that I would be rating this nearly 40, I would have gone, nah. I mean, Stargate was fine 10, 15 years ago, but it's not going to hold up that well. It's not going to be that great. It's generic. I feel like it's going to be a generic action and I'm not going to enjoy that much. Fact that it's 39.5 stars. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Did we go too high? I don't know.
No, I didn't think so. I didn't know we go too high.
I mean, we're pretty much on, like, the fact that our scores are pretty much the same.
Like with Total Recall, we gave it really low because we went through how well we liked it and how much we enjoyed it. But when we actually broke it down into its raw categories, it's like it doesn't do anything amazing though. With Stargate being 39.5 stars here, Ross, it is now 12th equal with The Mask from 1994 with Jim Carrey.
With The Mask?
The Mask with Jim Carrey.
What the?
12th equal with The Mask, but we'll go through the top 5.
What's above and below?
All right, so above The Mask is Scott Pilgrim versus the World on 40 stars.
Okay.
And actually, I didn't vote in that one though, fair enough. And below The Mask is The Punisher from 2004, Thomas Jane.
Oh, yeah.
For our top film, Russ, number 1 is Jurassic Park with 50 stars.
JP.
Can't be beaten, only be matched. Number 2 now, though, is Spider-Man 2 from 2004.
Really?
49 stars. It's a movie that's... Look at superhero films and how far they've gone. Spider-Man 2 is still up there in the top, probably top 10 for a lot of people. Number 3 is Jumanji.
Yeah.
Robin Williams, 47.5 stars. Number 4 is Batman, Mask of the Phantasm, the only Batman the Animated Series feature film. It came out with 46.5 stars.
Can't remember if I've seen that.
You should watch it. It's one of the best ones.
Yeah.
It's one of the best Batman stories, not just in animation, but ever. Batman 1989 is 5th equal with Big, with 44.5 stars. Big with Tom Hanks. Yeah, it goes from there, but Scott Pilgrim's in 11th place with 40
Had
stars.
you done Big when we did Batman?
So Batman, yeah, I did Batman first episode ever on Nobody Does It Bennett.
Yeah.
Then number 2 was Uncharted with You.
Yeah.
And then number 3 was Big.
Ah, okay.
The Mask is 12th equal now with Stargate. And now in 14th place is The Punisher from 2004. So yeah, Stargate is a lot higher than I expected.
Yeah. And if you went, like, what would you prefer? Stargate or The Mask? I think every day of the week I'd be like, yeah, man, The Mask.
You think that. But then, since I watched Stargate, I've been thinking about how much more I want to go back through and watch more of the Stargate series. So it's enticed my appetite to actually go back and do it. So it's done its job very, very well. It's a really good way, pun intended here, really good gateway into the series. It's not very often you can have a feature film be first and then spin off into a series. Usually it's a series that spins off maybe into a movie.
6 seasons in a movie.
That's a movie coming out that soon.
Community.
is getting made.
Yeah.
If you like what you hear or have any suggestions or thoughts for us, who knows, it might be about Stargate. Well, you can contact us by going to Nobody Does It Bennett Facebook page or by hitting us up on the Twitter at NobodyDIBennett. You can also email us at nobodydoesitbennett@outlook.com or by going to our website, nobodydoesitbennett.buzzsprout.com. Nobody Does It Bennett is available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and other podcast outlets. Nobody Does It Bennett is also available now on YouTube, so don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hit that notification button.
Ross, do you have any final thoughts on Stargate?
I want to go through the series now. Egyptian mythology has always been awesome. To combine that with sci-fi is fantastic. If it got redone today, I would go see it. Hell yeah.
Good, short and sweet, I like that.
Yeah.
All the points there too. Stargate is a movie that not only launched a potential new franchise, but a whole entire sci-fi fandom and legacy. The mixture of alien gods with the simple yet brilliant idea of creating a gate with almost limitless destination options is something that is so good, you're shocked it took as long as it did to come to realization. Stargate 1994 itself, well, it's a fun adventure film mixed with dark, almost horror elements that exist in a science fiction realm and blends the genres well together. Although I believe the ideas they came up with on Stargate SG-1 did mostly improve the product, it was still this original movie's concepts and style that helped launch this franchise truly into the stars. Thank you, Ross, for joining me here tonight. It was a blast going through Stargate. It has an even greater meaning for me as I believe you are the one that introduced it to me as a child.
Really?
Yeah, I had never seen it and you taped it and I watched it because you taped it.
Sweet. You're welcome.
There you go. Thank you, sir. And thank you for listening. Remember, some others may do it better, but nobody does it Bennett. Take care.
It's the end of the show, and now it's time to go. Don't be sad, just be glad. Then nobody does it better.